Unboxing and audio interfaces for any budget, building a studio part 5. Interfaces are where one of these legendary nonsense generating bullshit factories all over the internet where people just lie about crap. They have no idea what they're talking about. And then when you point out that all of their pieces of crap, or their expensive ones or their cheap ones, they're all made by the same driver manufacturer, Thesicon or the Sycon.de, except for RME and a very select short list of other stuff. I don't know why Tom's thing keeps multiplying, so I'm just gonna have to remove them all, I guess. It's gonna get screwy. Okay, what do we got? You got a guitar here. Ooh, is that a Dobro or something?
On my $100 Johnson Dobro. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, is that a piece of metal?
No, that's the Fender Rhodes logo.
No, but it's not a sticker, right? It's like some kind of
piece of metal, yeah.
Holy crap!
But it's a Johnson. When it first came out, this was $100 Dobro. You know, when the Chinese first loaded the market, they're now like $1,500, $100 Dobro Johnson.
Wow.
My swinging Johnson, I put a Fender sticker on it because I could.
Oh man.
I have a Fender Rhodes logo on my Marshall 50 watt.
All right. All right. Well, let's see what this thing's about here.
And you can see my Gretsch 12.
Yeah.
So the first part, everything he's talking about the computer, and then he starts talking about the latency of the USB versus
the
Hi everybody, hope you're doing marvelously well. We're Big Bad and back with another in our home studio build series. It's been a few months. I think it's been 4 months since the last part. And the reason for that is A, we've been really busy. We've been making records and mixing and doing all the fun things.
Now, I'm supposed to be on this guy's show from time to time, so I can't take too many hard shots on him. But
I'll take the hard shots.
Let's see.
We do in the main studio.
Virgin 456. Virgin 456.
Also, we were deciding what computer to get. Now,
oh, that's a real MRL. You should take it to those guys downtown that bought the Studer without an MRL. And they're like, oh, I'll just use my phone. Yeah, good luck with that.
This is for my tape. My tape machine. Are you kidding? I wouldn't give this shit up.
I am not a snob. You can use PCs, you can use Macs, you can use whatever you like. Really, all that matters is use what you know. What I know is Apple's, is Macs. And recently, a few months ago, they brought out this little baby, the Mac Studio. So we decided to get that. So we have the Mac Studio, we have all the accoutrements that come with it. So we're going to get this set up. I'm very, very excited. The spec on this computer is, looking at my notes, is it's 20-core CPU, 64-core GPU, it's 128 gigabytes of RAM, which is, of course, the memory, and 4 terabyte hard drive. So, for me, that's pretty maxed out. We did take our 2009 cheese grater, which is currently in the main studio, and maxed that out with like 96 gigabytes of RAM. But this has 128.
I need a new Apple.
And they specifically designed that for people like us.
I don't know that this thing's going to be any faster than anything else. Like, when we take a look at DawBench, the Apples are still so far behind
my
PCs
desktop
and
is
performance.
so fucking slow. It takes 5 minutes for Pro Tools to load.
Well, I'm waiting. I'm excited because people are saying that the M1 chips are gonna do a lot of stuff, and I have one on my MacBook Pro, and it is a slow, but it doesn't eat batteries. That's the good part, is the batteries last forever.
I'm buying Pierre's 140 EMP plate reverb.
His what? His plate reverb?
His plate reverb, yeah, the 140. I'm buying.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, is this... I don't know if this is echoing. Oh.
Hence the studio name. Lots of my friends have the latest tower, and to be honest, they've spent in excess of $7,000-8,000.
Well, I don't care about this at all.
Which we are.
Is just another Mac user that's talking about Macs.
I'll tell you when.
All right, hold on. Sorry, I'm muting you. Don't care about
long time since I've got a brand new.
Don't care. Don't care. Ooh,
HDMI input. Oh wow. This is very, very exciting.
Let's get
This is the first new Mac computer I've ever had.
Wow.
I mean, in the other room, we still
just
have a
happened to me last year,
2009 cheese grater running the Pro Tools system that goes through the SSL. And this is really exciting. Now, we have one of these ready to go in the other room. That will be another whole video. We're going to swap and offered more flexibility. So we listened and we did it. So that's what we have. We have
Here we go.
a great device with all of the plugins that come. And there will be other devices coming. We will be trying lots of different stuff out. So there's a big discussion on Thunderbolt versus USB for latency. The accepted wisdom is that Thunderbolt is faster, therefore gives you less latency. And
No. Not at all. Thunderbolt could be faster. That doesn't mean it's going to give you less latency. That really has nothing to do with it. It's not even a... well, I guess if you had something that was ridiculously slow that you couldn't move the data through, then you might change the latency. But I think you'd more be talking about dropouts. This really has nothing to do with the latency. But that's not Warren's claim, so don't hold him to that. But if that's the accepted wisdom, whoever that wisdom source is, don't listen to them anymore.
accepted wisdom is that Thunderbolt is faster, therefore gives you less latency. And I do know that many people report using Thunderbolt interfaces and have almost zero perceptible latency.
Well, that would be stupid, and that would be confirmation bias, and that would be the absolute worst way you can decide something, is to ask, what's the number one thing that's going to get a black man executed and stuck to death row for a crime he didn't commit? Eyewitness testimony. Eyewitness testimony is garbage. It's absolute garbage. You need to test this stuff.
Either way, most of the interfaces have ways of working around that. A lot of them you can listen to the direct signal
dual monitor
while
path,
you're
we don't
recording,
care.
so there's zero latency, especially if you're recording with tons and tons of plugins. So there's lots of great interfaces on the market. We have brought this down to 3 in particular. For us, the Evo 4 is one of our favorite.
So this is a Vesicon driver product. All the audio USB interfaces, as far as I know, all of them use Vesicon drivers. And I'm saying Vesicon because that's how Vin Curliano says it. But it could be wrong. Here, I'll unmute you. I just got to get through one of the sentences. So this is a good choice to test, because this is the driver that everybody's using. Everybody's got this. Like, I mean, even Motu, I think, at this point. The Focusrite stuff, you name it, it's Vesicon drivers. Behringer, which is hilarious because you watch these guys on these forums talking about, oh my God, the audio is so much better than the Behringer. It's got so much. I don't know why, Tom. Why does your stuff keep breaking and coming back? I don't know what's going on over there. When people talk about how much better these Audient drivers are than the Behringer ones, it's the same drivers. Like, you might have different features unlocked. You can actually pay the company to do different things. You do see better features than some of them, but in general, they're going to work pretty much the same.
If not our favorite entry model. It is $129. It has combo jacks of an XLR and 1/4 inch on the back there. It's obviously got speaker outputs. It is ridiculously easy to use. It's got a JFET input, so you get a better signal, quite frankly. I think the reason why I like it is...
Really? Why? What did you compare that to say that you get a better signal? Better in what way? You get better, less noise, less distortion, better frequency response, flatter frequency response. What's better about that JFET input than the whatever else you would be plugging into?
Is because it, frankly, has got really good sounding mic pre's. It's not the same mic pre's as the ones that are inside of their other range.
And could you tell the difference on hearing those between those mic pre's and the other ones? You say better. What do you mean by better? Is there more gain available? Is there less distortion? Is there less noise? How's the bandwidth? How's the frequency response? What do you mean by better? Everybody just goes around saying better.
Their ID.
And I would, not to be insulting here, I would almost guarantee I would be very surprised if he could tell the difference between this mic preamp and the other mic preamp he's talking about.
Range. But I would argue it's just as good. A lot of people have asked me a very awkward question when it comes to money. Why buy the more expensive one? Well, the one
to impress your clients. Or you need more gain. Or, you know, sometimes you really do get a much better signal to noise ratio on a mic preamp. But anybody who thinks that the frequency response is going to be better is out of their mind. Like, you're the cheapest, crappiest. You would have to pay money to make a not flat mic preamp at this point.
The more expensive one has the mic pre's, which are essentially the same as in their consoles, which are fantastic.
Why?
But the mic pre's in this are still really, really
What's
good.
the difference?
So
You're making a lot of claims
would
here.
Be, if you want more features, buy the more expensive one. If you want something simple and easy to use with the smart gain function, this really is a world beater. We've used it many, many times in many, many videos. We actually take these on remote recording. They sound fantastic. None of them are broken down. We've had them now since they first came out, and they still all work, and we love them. Now, the Apollo Twin...
No! That's what he's going to compare it to, is that piece of crap. Okay.
No,
Sorry, Universal Audio.
It's not a cheap unit. It's an $1,100 unit. It's built exceptionally well. It has the same mic line inputs, which are also can be quarter-inch.
I'll take the Evo any day.
But one of the things about the UAD range, of course, is it comes with a schnizzle ton of plugins as well, all of which sound absolutely phenomenal and are considered some of the best in the business. So there's a really good value for money on this. And a lot of...
It's 10 times the price. How is that good value for money? You can't use those plugins on anything else. You'd have to have that dongle attached to it. How is that going to help you?
Professionals I know use this to make albums. They make albums with this unit and get incredible results. And you've heard them all over the radio. That's not to say the Evo won't be doing the same thing. But with this...
No, the Evo will be doing it better because you can use it on any old computer and not worry about it.
You get into the UAD ecosystem. No. You get to start using their incredible plugins.
You get to get in their dongle and pay for the privilege. Get out of here.
And yeah, we love what they do, and this is a perfect situation to showcase. Really, between these two units, they're incredible value for money in different ways. This with the plugins, this with tons of functionality, and this with the smart gain, just something that you can use really quickly and easily, which of course I have done. We'll link to the other videos for this. I think you'll really love it. But the UAD Apollo Twin is pretty much an industry standard for many, many people. Last but no means least is the PreSonus or PreSonus. I've heard each one. I don't know which is the right one. PreSonus or PreSonus.
The company actually says it both ways too, so you can. I think you're safe to use either here, Warren.
2626. This is $699 for 8 inputs. This actually came from you because we were going to try out an older version, and this had just come out.
Okay. So PreSonus has changed. Allegedly, the Quantum is the fastest drivers on the planet right now. I think that's what Jim Roseberry said. I can't remember if that's a Thunderbolt or USB 3. But the 2626, that sounds like a... I think that's... Maybe it's a newer update to an older model, but I think there's an older 2626, which was actually not so good. It had Besicon drivers, or, I mean, we should go way back when PreSonus was using Dice 2 for Firewire. And you had the well-known Dice 2 issues, but let's see, Quantum... What is the Quantum? Oh, it is that the Quantum is the 2626. Okay, so this is the one that Jim Roseberry's talking about. Now, why does it say M1 chip? What the hell does that have to do with M1 chip? M1 chip compatible. Okay, so this is Thunderbolt. Now, I think I gotta check with Dawbench, but I'm almost sure that Jim was saying that this is actually faster than the fastest RME at this point. Let's see. Now this, that doesn't mean it's going to work well. Just because you got super fast drivers, it may be too fast for your computer to keep up. And remember, when you're looking at, how do I bring up the right monitor? You cannot see the plugin I'm working on right now. Let me just move that. I got to bring the right monitor up. We're looking at this performance meter. This right here, RT longest block, I think it's real-time longest block. There's two numbers here. One's smaller, hopefully smaller number in front, and bigger number in the back. This number to the right is the size of your output buffer. Basically, whatever in the world you do with that computer, that left-hand number has to be smaller than the right-hand number, or this thing's going to click and pop and give you some serious trouble. So you only have a certain amount of time anyway. So if you make this time super short, look at this. I'm barely using any CPU right now. I'm actually testing out a plugin that I can't really talk about, but this plugin doesn't use much CPU at all. And this is a real-time CPU. You see it's using 0.8%. It's nothing, right? But it's still using a millisecond of time. And if our buffer's over a millisecond, what are you going to do? You're going to click and pop. I'm going to bypass it. Let me offline it real quick, actually. Let me see what happens if I offline this plugin. And here I am not getting my work done because I'm commenting on this thing. I'll reset this real quick. Okay, so even this one plugin added 1.5 milliseconds to the RT longest block time, which is scary. Okay, let me get this out of here. We'll go back to the oh, why is it showing that window? Get back. There we go.
You swapped out that and have got this. At $699, it's really very, very affordable. And we wanted, frankly, to use some PreSonus equipment. We've had a lot of people ask about it, and here it is. We're trying it out. It's 8 XLR mic pre-combo jacks, just like the other two units. It uses their XMAX analog preamps, which they claim is very ultra-transparent, which I believe. The latency is barely measurable at less than 1.
Yeah, 192 kilohertz, which, come on, get out of here. Let's do apples to apples. It's something we're probably going to use. I don't want to get into sample rate wars or anything crazy, but 64 sample buffer is less than 1 millisecond at 192 kilohertz. I don't care about 192 kilohertz. What is this thing going at 48 kilohertz? PreSonus Quantum, 48 kilohertz. What is he saying? 64 samples? 64 sample buffer, okay. So if you see I don't have it on my screen right now. I'm running this RME at 128 samples right now. I could easily run it at 64, but I want to keep a longer RT longest block time available. 48 kilohertz latency. So here we go. Somebody's saying I'm getting 4.5 milliseconds round trip latency in Studio One at 48 kilohertz and 64 samples. But I see people getting around 3.3 milliseconds, the same settings. Am I doing something wrong? Okay, 3.3 milliseconds is gonna be goddamn fast. Still, that's nearing the advertised latency that my RME is saying at 128 samples, and that's just for my output buffer. So this is a round trip latency allegedly at 4.5 milliseconds. That's fast. That's way the hell better than you're gonna be getting with that UAD. I'm pretty sure. What UAD is this guy running? It's like an Apollo or something. UA Apollo. I don't have this on my chart right now. I don't think I need to update my chart. 48 kilohertz latency. Let's see. And they get into sample rate wars, but what about the latency? I don't see it. Let me go somewhere else. So round trip latency at 48, 44K. It's not going to be too much different than 48. They're claiming 1.1 milliseconds at 96 kilohertz. That's crazy fast. Are you sure, or is that converter latency? Is that actually going through the computer? That would be insane. Yeah, that could be. Oh. What is Console? Is Console their DSP mixer? Tom, you own these UAD things. Is Console their DSP mixer? Because that's not what we're talking about. I don't care that the DSP mixer is 2.2 milliseconds. We're talking about the round trip latency. Okay, that's not no help. I would seriously doubt that this thing's gonna be faster than that, but I don't know. Notice how hard it is to get this information as well, and that's why sites like the Kailua Music School Round Trip Latency Roundup and Vin Curliano's DAW Bench exist, is because this information is just impossible to get. Latency of RME card on Mac only. How would you compare RME and Apollo? Let's see. Does anybody actually put up some numbers? See, people always talk. They talk, but they don't actually test. And, it's not, I don't see it on their, you would think the first thing that would come up is be their website, right? It's not like they're afraid to advertise or afraid to boost their stuff in Google. So anyway, let's just
1 millisecond. And the converters have a 115 dB dynamic range. And that's probably one of the biggest things that will separate it from other cheaper ones, is that is a huge dynamic range. What's nice about the Quantum 2626 is it features 2 direct preamp outputs with dedicated returns, meaning you could use a separate...
And this was a thing from PreSonus that we were saying for the longest time. First person to put an output for their DI so that it can still go to an amp if it's going in the interface, they're going to win. Yeah, you've been unmuted for like 10 minutes.
Or EQ or whatever it was, or both. What's good about that is...
Yeah, see, two sets of ADAT inputs. This is a killer card here if you're not getting an RME, I guess.
When I'm recording drums, I only really actually compress the inside kick mic and the snare top. And maybe if I've got a really expensive stereo compressor, maybe the overheads. But typically, I only compress those 2. So for a drum kit, I can run something on channel 1 and channel 2, a compressor / EQ on those 2 would be perfect for a drum recording for me, because those are the only 2 things that I actually compress on the way in. It's also got 2 headphone outputs, which might not seem like a big deal, but that is. Because you've got a singer standing over there or somebody playing acoustic guitar, and you both have to be on headphones if you're in the same room. So having 2 headphone outputs, as trite as that might seem, is actually a really big deal.
I like ergonomics. This is good that he's talking about it.
There's a MIDI DIN, which allows you to connect 2 non-USB MIDI devices, which is rather cool. Oh, and of course it has ADAT inputs, which is really good if you want to expand other units and daisy chain them together. So
yeah, see, with this, if I was using this, I'm using a spare mic preamp just to do the D to A. So that'd be pretty handy for me with this unit, actually.
So thanks ever so much. Obviously, there are many interfaces on the market. We're just cherry picking a few here. We have tons and tons of videos on the different interfaces.
I guess it's cool he showed different ones. We didn't really test the actual latency between them. Let's see what DAW Bench is saying. About the podcast. Oh, no, this is just a podcast. Shoot. I wonder if he put something new up. 6 months ago. Ooh, look. Ryzen versus Intel. So Scan is one of the places that really does scientific based every freaking thing. Audio CPU benchmarks. Let's see what Scan's saying about these. I really want to see versus the M1 though, because Apple's supposed to really have gotten their stuff together, and we're supposed to see serious performance out of those M1s. I haven't seen it yet, but anyway, I'm gonna end this stream because I really need